I have retrieved a deleted scene from In the Tall Grass. Check it out.
Oh, magic conch shell, what do we need to do to get out of the kelp forest?
Nothing.
The shell has spoken!
What is up, Flick fans, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about the brand new Netflix movie called In the Tall Grass. I need your comments down below. Were you excited for this Stephen King adaptation? And did you enjoy the movie? Let's talk about it. So after hearing a young boy's cry for help, a sister and brother venture into a vast field of tall grass in Kansas, but soon discover that there may be no way out and that something evil lurks within. This film is directed by Vincenzo Natali. You have a marquee actor in there in Patrick Wilson, and really the entire cast is strong here, and the performances in the movie did not detract me from it whatsoever. I actually gravitated more towards their characters because of some of the performances in the film, and of course, you're basing this on a Stephen King adaptation. And Netflix, they've done pretty well with what they've gotten from Stephen King. Gerald's Game being my favorite movie that they've done, and one of my favorite adaptations from Stephen King. I really enjoyed that movie, so I was excited just based on the premise because, of course, I haven't read the book, so I have no attachment towards the source material. One, I'm kind of interested to see what book readers are going to think of this film, so definitely let me know in the comments down below if you have read the book and if that got you excited for this movie or if the book itself underwhelms. Because of this premise and because of how interesting this entire concept was, getting stuck in a field of tall grass. Simple, but kind of scary. I had the same vibes going in as I did the movie Haunt that came out a few weeks ago. It's all about being stuck in a haunted house, except the people in the haunted house, they're actually trying to kill you. It's very simple, but in terms of scaring me, because it is something that could happen in real life. Not the supernatural aspect, but just being stuck there and being scared while you're in there. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, the first 20-25 minutes of this movie, I'm locked in because I'm so interested at where this could go. Like I said, the performances are good. I didn't hate the cinematography at all, actually. When they would show these above shots of the tall grass, you get that haunting feeling, as well as the score. You have this kind of choir in the background going, ooh, and you can feel the tension starting to build in that first, really the first act in its entirety. I'm like, yes, I like what this movie is doing right now. It feels very Stephen King, but as some Stephen King stories go, it's not all one thing. It starts to mix in different genres, and in the same vein of It Chapter 2, I feel like this film brings in one too many things, and by the end of the movie, you don't get the, not a simplistic payoff that you're expecting, because I didn't want this ending to be simple just because of what they were building up in the beginning, but you get a payoff that gives you one too many genres, gives you one too many things to try to figure out, and at the end of the day, and I hate to say it like this, I was a bit confused with the story. I liked the journey up until a point, then something happens, something else happens without giving spoilers, and once those few things begin to happen, you're like, all right, they have to at least somewhat explain this to me. And I'm not saying I need the movie itself to spoon-feed me, because I love when films have ambiguous endings, but there's a difference between an ambiguous ending or an ambiguous plot point and multiple questions, multiple ambiguous elements. When you're looking back on the film, you're just thinking, I wish they would have at least explained these two things, because these other two or three things confused me. And at the end of the day, I have so many elements and aspects of this movie that I have questions about, and that kind of sours the experience. And it truly is a shame, because I liked the journey, I just didn't necessarily like the destination, and that is really a big part of the payoff, especially when you have a movie kind of not secured in the horror genre, because there are thriller elements, there are sci-fi elements, there are a few comedic moments that I don't think intended on being comedic. It is a dark movie, but a few lines of dialogue, I'm like, all right, it was a bit cheesy, but so off the wall at times. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it's just trying to balance too many ideas. And as good as the look and the feel of the movie was, when a film does that and does not execute on that and leaves you with so many questions, I can't look back upon it and say that's really something that I'm going to go back to revisit. And even though I had all of the questions in the world, I haven't been thinking about it as much as I wanted to while I was watching the movie, and I think that's just because of the frustration element. I'm not saying this movie is bad whatsoever. Some really good moments, some pretty effective scares, not necessarily in the jump scare category, but I like the building of intensity. But when you juggle this many ideas and you leave me asking the questions that I was asking, and the third act holds so many questions because it just goes so off the wall, when the thing starts happening, you're like, all right, this is cool, and then it continues to happen, you continue to have more questions. Those were just my issues. I do think a lot of people are going to enjoy this movie just because it does have a pretty sweet injection of sci-fi into the horror. Because of all of those things, I am going to go 50% with my score. It's definitely worth checking out because I do think we'll have some fans on both sides of the fence. It is on Netflix for you guys to watch right now. Thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate your supporting my channel. And of course, if you enjoy this video, if you like these Netflix reviews, leave it a thumbs up. I will definitely do more. It helps out this channel. Thank you as well for your support on Patreon. And I will be back later on today with another Netflix review. I'll see you guys soon.